Yeah. Okay. Well, 1 second. Can you say something, Thomas?
No. I was going to do my intro, but
oh, you have an intro?
It's not good.
Have at it.
And we absolutely can't use it.
All right, I guess I'll go. All right, I'll go.
Well, I want to hear this intro.
I know. I kind of want to hear it too.
All right.
But we can't use it. But we're live on air.
Kendra Wilkinson was the ripe age of 19 years old the first time she got married. Married to a great man who recently passed this week, Mr. Hugh Hefner. At the time when she was 19 years old, he was 78. Coincidence? I don't think so.
Well, you missed the whole. This is episode 78.
I don't do the intros.
Hey, why can't we use that? I thought it was good. That works.
That would have actually been good.
2 of the 3 of us have daughters. I don't want to even get into it.
I have a better one. I have a user submitted one.
Oh well, yeah, we have to have that then.
I'm trying to pull up our stream. All right, I'll talk about that later. Okay, 87 days. Do you know what that is? Can anybody guess what 87 days are from today? 87?
87.
No. 87? No, it's not episode 87. It's 87 days until Christmas. That's right. 87 days until Christmas. And my friend on Twitter, who I'm going to butcher his last name, but Jeff, how would you pronounce this? Posth.
Post.
Post?
Post.
Jeff Post brought something to my attention on Twitter. Do you realize on the 12th day of Christmas, you will receive, if you go by the song, of course, on the 12th day of Christmas, you receive 78 gifts. And this is episode 78 of PHP Ugly, the GIF episode. Coincidence? I think not.
What's our gift?
Me. In our camaraderie. Office manager needs out. He's like, oh shit, they're starting the podcast. I'm getting out of here. Hold on.
Damn it, you're correct. That is 78 gifts. That was a good one.
So that actually ended up being a lot more helpful than I anticipated. I got a few people respond to me on Twitter about ideas. I'm gonna keep putting that out on a weekly basis, seeing if anybody has any input. I have a couple coming up for 80 that I already have in my notes, but I enjoyed getting feedback from people. It was cool. I'm also.
You guys start sending rejection letters to the ones that don't quite make the cut. Say, we really appreciate your submission, but we're gonna have to pass on it.
Look forward to you submitting next year.
Now we're gonna have to keep you. We're gonna have to keep you honest on this too, because you said you'd send him a sticker and
pin. Yep, pin. Absolutely will. Jeff, you hit me up on Twitter, and I will send you a pin and stickers.
Well, that's mean. Not only do they have to listen to the show to realize that there is this way to get the sticker and pin, they have to keep listening to see if their submission is used to then get it.
It's almost like a marketing ploy or something.
You are
even necessarily cruel.
Cruel and unusual punishment. You have to listen to our show twice.
How's everyone's week been?
It's going well. I also have our Twitter stream going. Like we normally do our live recording and we stream, but nobody ever watches the live stream. And for like the last couple of weeks, people have been trying to chat with us on our show while we've been recording, and nobody's been looking at the chat. So I'm trying not to be too distracted with the fact that I have the live chat going over here, but I do.
What live chat are you talking about?
Week went well. How was your week, Thomas?
What live chat are you talking about? Answer me.
That's the thing. It's like, and this is a flaw with Google. Like, they need to fix this. When you stream live on your YouTube channel, where the live stream has actually happened, that's the one that we post to Twitter or in IRC. If you happen to be in the SDPHP IRC channel, you post a YouTube your YouTube channel there. Well, on the YouTube channel, there's a whole live chat thing going that people will chat while the show's going on. The issue is, once you stop the stream, the chat is gone, or at least I haven't figured out a way to get back to the chat. So once you stop the live stream, the live chat goes away, and there's no way to I can't even see who had sent the message. So now I have it open.
And you know what? Since we've mentioned it, there is a PHP Ugly IRC channel on Freenode now. So if you'd like to drop by and hang out, PHP Ugly.
Why are you gonna have me start up PHP? Why are you gonna have me start up IRC again? Why would you do that? Why? And for the record, because of you, Thomas, there is a PHP Ugly on Discord as well.
Yes, there is.
I mean, you need to get on a platform and stick with it, brother.
If you're interested in playing video games, you can join us on the SDPHP Steam group.
Or the PHP Ugly Steam group, or the Wave PHP Steam group.
That's right.
Killing us.
Thomas has got a new game he's playing. I downloaded it today, Thomas. I'm not on it yet.
Fortnite Battle Royale mode.
How do you guys have time for games? I don't get
That's
it.
it. I don't have time for this. I can't do this.
So what's the game? What are you playing?
Fortnite.
What is it? I've never heard of it.
It's a 4-player cooperative battle royale style 100 versus 100 game.
Sounds boring.
A lot of the times it is, yeah.
It's all the rage right now. Like there's these survival games out now. There's
I thought
King of the
SimCity was
Hill.
all the rage right now.
Yeah.
No, it's been a couple years.
I guess I should have gone with Doom. I thought Doom was all the rage.
That's been about 6 months.
I was actually thinking of the 94 version.
Yeah.
So you have to be more clear. You have to say Doom 2016 or Doom 94.
I think this show's Doom. We're not even into it yet.
So I dropped you a line. I asked you how your week went. You didn't even mention that there was a Laravel user group yesterday.
Oh, there was. We're getting there.
It was a good one. We had a good meetup yesterday. Our little community San Diego Laravel user group here.
I was impressed by the talk. The presentation was really good. My concern is the turnout has just been so low lately.
First thing, let's address the first thing. Norm, one of the members who I think that was the first talk he's given, did a fantastic job.
Definitely,
he was
I agree.
One of those presenters, like you sit there and you watch him, and I was thinking, okay, why haven't you presented before? Like, why is this the first time you're presenting for us? Because you're doing a pretty good job at it. So Norm, fantastic job. If you're listening to this, appreciate it. He did a whole talk on containers and using containers with Laravel, and it was very much a real world experience of, hey, I got this job, we had this problem, and this is what we started to do to address it, and these are the pros and cons and the gotchas that we came across. It was a real good talk. So yeah, you're right.
Don't use containers if you're just looking to be cool. He did have some good pros and cons in there.
There's nobody on this podcast who uses them just to be cool.
No.
But yeah, to touch on John's other thing, this is a problem we see whenever we change locations is that we have a drop off, but typically when we have a drop off, we usually pick up a bunch of new members as well because of physical locations change. A lot of times people just don't want to travel to these meetups. So even though you may move like 10 miles or whatever, it's just 9 miles further than somebody really wants to go, or somebody who was already driving 20 miles to get to the other meetup, they don't want to have to drive another 10 to get to this new meetup. So we see these drop-offs, and this is only the second meetup we've had in the new location. So, but yeah, I agree. I'm getting nervous. Like the interest.
Attendance in the last place wasn't that great. I mean, we had a couple of decent ones, but it's so much work for the so few people that come out.
I think it's time to make attendance mandatory.
Yeah, it's a tough call. I mean, there seems to be a lot of interest with Laravel, but I'm starting to feel like we could easily merge it back into the PHP user group and cover Laravel.
I definitely have that feeling. I remember when we started the Laravel user group in the first place, it was just me and you, Eric, and John. And Laravel was explosive. I mean, we were in the 4.2 branch at the time, and everything was changing real quick. Everyone was incredibly hyped about the whole thing. It was a huge change in the atmosphere of the PHP language, but things have sort of stabilized now, and the stuff that Laravel did that was new and innovative is now in Cake and now in CMSs that are coming out, and we're seeing a lull in big innovative changes.
And I know that's actually what Arizona PHP did. They took their Laravel group and just merged it back into the general Arizona PHP meetup, and once every couple months they'll do a Laravel specific talk. And I don't know, I'm starting to feel I think I'm going to ride it out until the end of the year, which is only a couple more meetups. I mean, we skipped December, so we have October, November. We have a couple more meetups, and just kind of get a feel for, like, maybe in November, just kind of get a feel for everybody to see, if I don't know, if it just doesn't make sense just to have it be part of the San Diego PHP user group again.
If we do that, are you thinking possibly keeping it at 2 meetups, downtown and then current location, if they'll have us? Or just one?
One is appealing to me.
What else do you guys have going on? I mean, come on.
Well, yeah,
it's just a different audience.
It's just the 2 meetups, the 3 podcasts, the annual convention.
Yeah. Well, and the thing about this new place for the Laravel meetup is it's like so nice and centrally located. Like, people up in North County can get to it easily. People downtown, I mean, not easily, but just as easily as the people in North County can get to it, people downtown can get to it. It's kind of like in this middle of San Diego spot, which is appealing as well. I don't know. Maybe that's something we ask and see what they see how they feel about it. I mean, they were the ones that offered to host the Laravel meetup, so they clearly have some interest in it. I mean, they might not have interest in just a PHP meetup.
If they do have interest and we only want to do one, maybe we move it all to there and skip downtown.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't a Laravel. This isn't a Laravel podcast, but that doesn't stop us.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I think a lot's going to change here in the next few months. And again, with the conference coming up, I'm going to appreciate as much time I have to focus as possible. So cutting down our meetups to 1 meetup a month is really appealing.
So new mandate, no more Laravel talk on this podcast.
Why is that?
I think other
I
people
don't know.
tried to put that mandate on us before, but we've shunned it.
I don't know. It kind of flowed with what we were saying before, and then it got lost, and now I sound like an idiot. But hey, what's new?
It's better to have tried and failed than to live without having said the humiliating thing.
I don't know about that. I don't know if I go that far.
All right. So, Thomas, what have you been working on?
Oh my God. So this is Thursday. We record on Thursdays. So naturally, what am I doing at 11 o'clock at night? I am pushing the project I've been working on for the last 5 months into production.
I thought you did
there you go.
code releases on Friday. What are you doing on Thursday?
Well, 11 o'clock's close enough to midnight that we just called it Friday and did it. I work for a big company that has to report to the guys at the top, and we just sort of hit the deadline and said, well, now's the time to do it. We have to do it. So everyone, crunch time, do all the hours, fix all the bugs. We're doing it now. And so it's been a long week. But it's come together. We had fewer production-oriented bugs than we expected.
That's good.
Yeah. So everything's looking nice, and might be able to actually transition to a new ticket for once this year.
New tickets are
And
overrated.
research. Lots of research. I've been bumping into these plans to replace MVC, model view controller, which is just sort of the standard for PHP web development. And there's some interesting stuff there. Do you guys know anything about ADR, Action Domain Responder?
I've heard of it, haven't done anything with it.
I'm starting to look into that kind of development, eliminating controllers that do 10 things and boiling it down to actions.
So that was a big talk at Laravel. It sounds similar to who gave that talk?
You talking about Adam
Basically-
Lathens?
I think it was his, but
I think he invented ADR. I think Adam Wathen's the one who invented ADR for PHP.
oh really? Oh, there you go. It's basically getting rid of all the all your custom actions and sticking with this. What is it, like 7 standard actions that come with Laravel, and just having a lot more controllers.
Right.
Right, just making all the controls RESTful. So he actually had a different approach where he's creating more controllers. Just every controller only has the RESTful actions in it, which is index, store, delete, whatever the other ones are. But they're all. So instead of creating custom, like John said, you have some sort of custom action that you want to try to add to an existing controller, that just becomes its own controller, and it has to have all these. Well, it doesn't have to have, but it can have all the kind of RESTful sort of endpoints associated with it. But I think
to correct it, it's not
this ADR. Yeah, I think this ADR approach is more of a what's his name, Paul Jones?
Paul M. Jones.
Yeah, I think this is more down his alley, where things, like you said, you get rid of the controllers altogether, and things become form request processing, and like Thomas said, just actions. And I haven't looked a whole lot into it. What has you intrigued by it, though? I'm just curious. Like, and this is like going way back when I was first learning model view controller. I always struggled, and even when I switched over to doing some Rails development, and they were very, very structured on their model view controller approach. I always struggled with it because it's all PHP code. I mean, you're calling it a controller, but it's still just PHP code. There's nothing special about you don't say, oh yeah, this is a controller. I mean, you're extending a controller, but it's still PHP code. So throwing where you throw it, and that's always been kind of one of the debates, where you throw things, whether you throw it in a controller, whether you throw your business logic in a controller, or you throw it in a model, or you throw it somewhere else. So what has you intrigued about this new architecture, or not new architecture, but this pattern?
It is more prone to solid design. So for us, a controller is a design pattern. We define a domain space such as a blog post, and all actions on blog posts go into the controller for blog posts. So CRUD, all your CRUD stuff. And all your CRUD stuff that needs references to other objects and models. It's a lot of things overlapping, but because of that overlap, you end up less solid in your design, where you can have a request to edit that is including components required for reading that are unnecessary. It makes testability mocking a lot easier, and it lends itself much easier to domain-driven design, which is something I was talking about last week. So if you're working with domain-driven design, then Action Domain Responder is the easy way to implement that. There are a lot of overlaps. Model and domain are basically the same thing. View and responder are basically the same thing. Controller and action are basically the same thing. It's just that there's a level of granularity to it, where instead of each method in your controller calling a specific view, you're calling the view handler. So you're generating a response object. Your response object is aware of the request type, whether it be JSON or HTML or plain text, whatever you need. And the action is unaware of the context in order to render that view. It just passes the request on to the render object, which decides from there. So it just abstracts some logic out of the controller to the point where your controllers can be called responders or can be called actions instead. Right now in my Laravel projects, my controllers call a specific view and then just return it. And if I want to have an API call to the same page instead of just an HTTP call to the same page or an HTML rendering, I'd have to modify my controller to do that. And my controller would have to be aware of the request type to do that. Whereas in this design, I don't need that, which makes testing my actions much easier and testing my views much easier. So there's traction to be gained. And I think if you're looking at it in the abstract, it seems like theoretical. It seems just like a practice change. But in implementation, I've seen places in my own code already where I go, oh, that would be much better as a responder, because it's going through if JSON, then this, else this, else this. And having a place like that in your controllers, no one can look at that and say that's a good thing to have in your controller. You're clearly generating a response object. That response object should know what the request object was, not be told what the request object was.
Seems fair.
Yeah, I'll have to look into that. I saw some back and forth about it on a few of my Twitter streams, but
did you expect a concise answer?
Never.
You seemed surprised that I knew what I was talking about.
What? No one's ever surprised about that.
No, I am. I am surprised.
Yeah, it's-
Now you know I listen to our podcast after it's released.
I'm sorry.
I know Thomas listens to it when he's editing.
Did you hear my little special new inclusion?
No,
My musical beat for the
Oh, I did.
cryptocurrency talk.
I did hear that. That was very, very well done. Very well edited in. I noticed something about us, and I am by far, hands down, the biggest offender. But I have a drinking game, the PHP Ugly drinking game. Whenever one of us says "so," you have to drink, and I can guarantee you'll be blackout drunk by the end of the show, because between myself, who is an habitual so sayer, and then John, I think, says it the second most, and then
Really?
Thomas will say so. He'll kind of lead into another article.
I'm kind of shocked by that,
Do
actually.
you know why it's so bad on the podcast?
Because you leave them all in?
Well,
You're a
because
terrible editor?
Every time I have to make an edit, every time I have to cut something that we say, that cut restarts on us trying to restart our thought process. So we go for like 5 minutes, but that whole 5-minute chunk gets cut out.
So
We go, all right, back to what we were talking about. 3, 2, 1. So
Damn it.
I told the lady, I thought you were a blonde. And
Now I need another beer.
yep.
And it's
Also-
funny because when you first start doing podcasts or you first start doing recordings, your voice always sounds so weird. And I've gotten numb to that. Like, I used to hate hearing my voice on the podcast. And I already know, besides the fact that everybody dislikes their own voice, I can't believe I'm revealing this here, but I have a speech impediment, and I know this. And I grew up with a speech impediment, and I had to go to, special speech therapy to learn to speak correctly. So the fact that I have the balls to even do a podcast, I find
Or 3.
somewhat of an accomplishment.
Yeah, 1 or 2 or 3.
But I've gotten numb to how I sound. I've even gotten pretty numb to my speech patterns. But every time I hear myself go "so," I just get a shiver down the back of my spine. I'm like, oh man, how many times am I going to say that in a half-hour span?
My big one is the ahs and ums. Try so hard to get rid of those.
Yeah, that's
I usually cut
that-
those.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's definitely better to listen to the podcast post editing than it is live.
Yeah, no, we record through Zencaster, and then we talk to each other via Google Hangouts. And I've been having a problem of audio drift, where you guys are synced up, but my recording is way out of sync with your guys.
Time to get a
And
Mac.
Send it on over.
No, time for you to get a Mac.
Oh. So I've been having a lot of trouble with that, where we edit 3 tracks. Editing 3 tracks is much easier. When we start to talk over each other, I decide who successfully controlled the conversation, and I mute the other person.
Don't you like that feeling of you're God at that moment? Like
Yeah.
those words
Except
from
mine
John
is
will
always
never
muted.
be
I don't
heard.
know why.
That's right. John is always
Yeah.
muted.
You always come in right at the wrong time, where someone has
Well,
started talking.
He gives up on the
Someone.
conversation.
I say
too
someone, I mean Eric.
What do you mean I give up on the
People-
conversation?
People talk over him, and he just keeps talking, and he just gives up. He stops talking.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, there's no John.
No, the steamroller clearly wins out every time. If you just keep talking, then you're going to get the whole clip just to yourself. But last week, the sync was so bad on our tracks that I had to pull the MP3 off of our YouTube video. So I didn't have the chance to clean up any of those overlaps. I'm hoping it didn't come out too poorly.
You don't find a way to break in the middle there, where maybe we had some sort of break where you can shift your track back over to line it back up some more.
My track was desyncing about every 30 seconds, and
You know,
figuring out where I was in the conversation contextually is incredibly difficult. And I had the reason I gave up last week was there was one point in time where all three of us were talking in a perfectly round robin, acceptable way.
Whoa, is that
And
the first time ever?
Yes, actually. And my track was desyncing as you guys were talking. So I started talking over you guys, but the conversation was happening fluidly enough that I just couldn't edit it without putting an hour into that, 10-minute segment.
so
It was bad.
there was so again, damn it.
I'm out.
As you mentioned, Thomas, we do use a few tools for this, and the one that we use for our recording is Zencastr, and that's why I don't understand why we're getting audio drift with you. Perhaps we should open up a support ticket with Zencastr, because Zencastr is
Nope.
what we're piping.
It's already been done. So Zencastr does a local recording and then uploads the local recording to the remote servers. Because of that, you're dependent on the bit rate that's coming in from the local recording.
Well,
And
there's two
I've looked it up.
recordings, though. There's two recordings, though.
They're both
There's
local.
The MP3 is local, too, because...
Yeah. So the thing with the video is that the video is recording the stream as it occurs on a single channel at the same 1 bit rate. But with Zencastr, it's a known issue. I looked it up on their website, and they pointed me towards all sorts of articles about mitigating audio drift and which $5,000 mixer you should buy for each of your recording services so you can all sync your crystals together. Which, yeah,
we do need our chakras in line.
I never thought I would say that the fault here is just simple deficiencies in crystal harmonics and that our crystals simply aren't aligned. But that is the problem. So unless we start investing in better equipment, it's not. Shut up. See what you've done, Eric? Now I can't say so.
Now I'm the one trying to drink. Look how quickly I'm going through my scotch.
I see that. This is going to turn dangerous for you.
Oh, man. I shifted my office around again.
I like.
Now
Yeah,
I
I
have
see
my
that.
windows behind
It's
me.
confusing every time.
I saw that and I started looking around my office. I'm like, how can I rearrange this pigsty of an office I have?
Yeah, this is one of the more optimal layouts for the office manager, my dog Yaz, because it gives him the most space. The one that I had previously, I personally enjoyed more because I had it where the television I could watch my TV and still work. But now, I mean, my TV is now to my left, which I don't really watch that much TV, so it's not that big of a deal. But it wasn't one of those nice to haves. Like when I had it, I would like throw up my Nest camera on my television. I'd Chromecast it to my television so I could watch the front door or the back door when I was home alone. Can't do that now. So I don't know. I've been trying to find a new Zen layout for my office and haven't quite gotten there yet. I think I made my desk too big is one of the problems. I think I might need to readdress my desk layout here and shrink it down, but it's going all right. It's going all right. It's hot, man. It's hot here in San Diego again. How is it in Colorado, Thomas?
Oh my God, it is. I'm in pajamas. It is amazingly good. 70 degrees right now. Just perfect. I think it's like 45 degrees outside.
It was warm. So warm today.
Oh, it's so nice and cool right now.
So if you're planning on attending Wave PHP in 2018, just know shorts and sandals are all you're going to need because it was a hot one this year.
And condoms.
Don't.
It's one of the sexiest cities in America. I tell you what. I can't say that. See, can't put me in charge of promotional material.
We have
Although,
a huge announcement for Wave PHP. So
PHP
so
Ugly Condoms would be pretty amazing.
this is the Wave PHP section of the show. Do you have music for that? Like a little surf and like seagulls in the background?
I will dig it up. I'll have it. I'll have it.
We have our first keynote speaker for Wave PHP confirmed.
I am confused on how and when to announce that. It's like I want to spill
Here
it
and now.
No and no.
I think you know what, the speaker that we have has enough experience where we should be able to go to them and they would probably
Ask
give
advice.
us good advice.
Probably. I feel like I've seen most conferences, they basically just put the keynote speakers up after they figure out all the other speakers. They post their schedule, and then they send out an email like, hey, here's our keynote speakers. But the fact that we have a keynote speaker that meant a lot to me to reach out and say, hey, if you're available, I would love you to be the keynote speaker. And they stepped up and said yes, and I've got it on my schedule.
I also think it
means a lot.
I also think it adds some legitimacy to the conference, where people
That we
would
have a
see
speaker.
Well, yeah, this particular speaker, people would see this particular speaker and be like, "Okay, this is a real thing. This has got some backing to it." So, I kind of feel like I want to like toss it out there. I would even be okay if the speaker announced it and then we announced it.
That'd be awesome if he did. But
Can I just make one guess?
no.
Sure.
I love the teamwork between you guys.
If you guess right, it would suck if I couldn't.
Come on,
Well,
poker
if I
face.
guess
Just keep
right,
the
I'll cut it
poker
from the
face.
podcast.
Okay.
Is it? Huh?
No.
Is it
Did you
Rasmus
really make a
Lerdorf?
guess? Wait,
No.
did you make a guess?
Is it Rasmus Lerdorf?
That is a great guess, Thomas. And that is one of the guys I was going to reach out to who I feel like may actually be interested in coming. No, that's not a confirmed keynote speaker.
Ooh.
But I would be somebody I would love to have. I hear he's a pretty good speaker, and the whole I'm not a PHP developer angle is I find kind of humorous as well. So, but no, good guess though, very good. I thought you were going to go like way off the rails with it, like go like Taylor Otwell. I mean, come on! How cool would that be to have Taylor be the keynote? Like, I tried for years to get him to move his conference to San Diego, so I spin up a conference, or we spin up a conference in San Diego and have him speak at it.
I honestly don't know though if I would trust that he wasn't just fucking with us. Just
yeah, I'll speak and not show up.
yeah. I mean, I highly doubt anyone is that unprofessional, but we don't have the best relationship, so
I think I am getting more and more at ease with, like, I was super worried we would open up call for papers and not get any submissions, but just based on the feedback I've been getting from people that I really want to speak at like, what's stressing me out now is I'm starting to come to the realization that there are people who I really want to speak at the conference who are, experts in their little areas who I'm going to have to turn down because I'm starting to think we're going to run out of slots. Like, where before I was worried about getting enough people to cover the 2 days of 2 tracks and 1 day of training. Now I'm starting to think, wow, John mentioned, throughout the idea of potentially adding on a third track if we really got a good turnout with speakers. And initially, I was like, yeah. Let's worry about filling up 2 tracks first. But now I'm kind of like, okay, maybe that's not such a bad idea, because there's a lot of people who've been reaching out to me saying, I'd love to speak. I'd love to do a presentation for you guys. I'm like, oh man, that's awesome. So, let's see what happens.
I just want to get the call for papers out there and started so we can get submissions.
It's too early. Too early.
I know.
Now,
but why not just set up the site and say, hey, we're not officially open, but if you wanted to just get it knocked out and be done, go ahead and submit now.
I mean, I guess you could do that.
Yeah, but don't expect a yes or no for many months.
6 months. Yeah.
can we talk about the Wave PHP Twitter account?
Yes, we must. Let's talk about it.
Right now,
I love our. We're not in sync here at all. You say yes, I say no. I say yes, you say no.
yes, but at least the audio is synced.
At Wave PHP.
We don't know that yet.
So far, the tweets from the Wave PHP account have been mostly San Diego facts.
Yes.
Fun facts. You should put fun in there. Fun facts.
They're fun facts.
They are facts.
What's your point?
They err a little bit on the slightly uninteresting side.
Well,
it's
either that or nothing.
It kind of casts San Diego as a bowl of warm milk. SD fun fact: celebrity singer Jason Mraz has a 5.5 acre avocado farm in San Diego.
5.5 acres of, guess what, Thomas? Avocados.
Are they
It's here in San Diego.
avocados?
I want to spice this up a little bit.
But did you know Jason Mraz lived in San Diego?
Did you even know that,
more fun
Thomas?
fact.
So you could come out here to the Wave conference, be walking around, and just run into him. And now you can ask him how his avocados are.
Can I try an
I
SD?
know he lives here because my 3-year-old loves Jason Mraz and knows that he lives in San Diego.
Can I throw out an SD fact?
Fun fact? Sure.
No,
Yeah.
Jason Mraz is not going to be keynoting.
SD fun fact: the creator of
Confirmed,
Coney
anyway.
2012, Jason Russell, was arrested in San Diego for masturbating on a public street.
Oh my god.
SD fun facts. That event was featured on an episode of South Park the year later.
Ugh.
No?
This
Okay,
is
so
why you're not in
still not in the
charge
market.
of the Wave PHP Twitter handle right there.
I think that's a more fun fact than avocados.
Save that for
Yeah.
whatever episode 2008. You can say in 2000 or whatever year it was, 2008, so-and-so was arrested for that.
2013.
So we got a few shows to go before you can bring this one back up.
Oh man.
I'll bring it up next show.
You'll find a way.
Fun fact: the orange orchards on Camp Pendleton were featured through a season of Arrested Development.
Well, there you go. That would actually be a good one. Send that to
The other one was good too.
Fun fact, Top Gun was filmed in San Diego.
I've been to the house. I've been to the house that the girlfriend lived in.
I've been to that bar that well, it's not a bar, I guess it is a bar restaurant that they
The barbecue place?
sang, yeah.
Yeah.
What's that?
I'll have to come up with some fun facts for you guys.
I don't know if we want your
San
fun
Diego
facts.
has the most ideal climate with the temperatures averaging 70 degrees all year long. What better? What else do you need to know?
SD fun fact: San Diego produces the most avocados in the United States. That's 2 avocado tweets in 1 week.
They
That's
were
too
not
many.
in 1 week. They were not in 1 week. They were separate weeks. Avocados are a big deal out here.
Esty, fun fact, there are
to this
fines
day,
issued for leaving
don't
your Christmas
understand
lights up past February 2nd.
why San Diego produces so many avocados, which is also what guacamole is made of, and yet that have avocados or guacamole added to something will cost you extra here in San Diego. It's like, why is that? It's here. It's local.
I agree.
I can't help you. I don't know.
I don't like.
What happened to your
anyways.
mute button, Thomas?
I'm using a
He
different
is-
mute button that doesn't mute the Hangout, but it mutes Zencaster because I'm thinking that might have something to do with the delay.
So we get to appreciate the fact that he's vaping, but hopefully it'll get
That's
out.
right.
It'll be out of the.
SD
San Diego
Vapecast.
fact.
So loud.
San Diego fact. There are fines issued for leaving your Christmas lights up past February 2nd.
That's not
That
a
makes
fun
us
fact.
sound. That makes us sound like awful people.
We're Grinches now.
And I think that's just Del Mar too. I don't think that's San Diego proper.
I don't know. So if you want to learn more fun facts about San Diego, follow Wave PHP, and then we'll sprinkle in some information about the actual conference at some point. There's just nothing to talk about. There's nothing to share yet. So
Yet. There will be.
Yes.
Please follow us.
So, I said so that time, and I'm out of scotch. Damn it.
And I'm out of beer.
Ugh.
I've been.
Take a drink break.
Is that official?
I'm good.
Yeah, we'll do it.
Do we need
I'll
a
top up.
refill?
I'll top up. Yeah.
Well, I'm out of scotch. You guys are killing me here.
That's
I
not a
think
thing you
that-
should let happen. I'll be right back.
Oy.
And this is why people don't watch the live recording. Kansas City Barbecue. You're right, David Kwan, and YouTube chat. The Kansas City Barbecue. It's actually pretty good food too. I'm gonna just put that out there.
Sorry, I missed that one.
I was just responding to some of the comments in the YouTube chat, and David Kwan pointed out the name of the restaurant is called the Kansas City Barbecue, and I was just mentioning
yes.
it's pretty good actually. They have pretty good food there.
Ben Holtzman, David Kwan, we have people showing up.
Ben is the one who I believe comments on a regular basis, and we never see the comment because we don't typically have the chat open. And I think last week somebody had tweeted at me that people were commenting on our video, and I'm like, oh well, I guess I should open up our stream and see who's commenting.
All right, so then I got to throw it to Ben. Do we cover doom and gloom next or cryptocurrency talk next?
Hey, there's people chatting in here. What's going on?
So damn it. Now, since I'm out of alcohol, I just have to go straight to pills.
Ben says crypto. The people have spoken.
Crypto. Well, it's actually
going
one
to
person. He just said it twice, but we'll let it go.
We'll go a
John,
different direction first. No.
John, have you been keeping a wary eye on your crypto wallet lately? Because it's been bad out there.
Yes. It's always
There was
on my
a-
wallet.
There was a dive, like a massive market dive, because of
Hold on,
a
hold
bunch
on.
of regulations.
Hold on. Do you carry your crypto wallet around with you, John?
No, it's just sitting here on my desk.
Oh, I thought you said it's always on you.
Well, it is.
It's
I
always
have
at his
one.
desk.
Well, no, I do have one in my. Yes, I'm not saying where. Yes, I
So you
do
do
have
carry-
one.
Wait a second. Are you not saying where because it's embarrassing or because someone might steal it?
Someone might steal it.
Let's just put it to you
No,
like
it's
this.
in my.
There's a good
it's in my
chance he could sneak it into prison if he had to.
Just. Oh man, tell you
Oh, he really wants to be secure.
the trade rate for cigarettes to cryptocurrency is really bad right now. It's like 1 Bitcoin per pack. It's not good.
So I debated. Damn, I said so again. Damn it. I debated doing that myself, but then I kind of
Sticking
had like a
cryptocurrency in your butt.
and like, why do I need to carry it around with me? I've never been in a situation where I've been like, oh yeah, I need to exchange some cryptocurrency right now.
Yeah.
I would like to be in that situation, but I haven't been there yet.
But I think there's a cutting edge of first adopters that will be the ones that carry cryptocurrency around and don't use it a lot before it becomes a common commodity. I mean, it's gonna.
Yeah, that's the one question I have with this Trezor wallet is it's great for storing it, but it's more cold storage. If I wanted to send it right now, I have to plug it into a computer to be able to send it.
I think that'll change. I think the thing with wallets right now is what the Trezor is $75 if you can get one, and it's on eBay. It's like $150, and that's stupid. And our Arduinos are $5.
So
you can't manage that.
So again, damn it, I do keep some of my Bitcoins in my online wallet for that very reason. Like if I ever do get in a situation where I want to send some, I have it at my disposal. But
he says
like
something like he has
John,
multiple Bitcoins. Yeah.
He's got Dogecoins.
You don't know I don't.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, I don't. But
there was a
big
market crash.
I use that as my cold storage. You see, I bulldozer over everybody.
I know, except that you can't steamroll me. I'm the editor.
I get criticized.
There was a big crash in the crypto market after China banned ICOs. Sweden, Italy, a bunch of people came out and said, "Hey, look at these secured funds that are being transferred overseas without our knowledge. We need to actually have our hands on that because that's crazy bad." For example, there's a thing called structuring, which I didn't know about, which is if you have a large amount of money, it's illegal to try and deposit it in chunks in your bank because that's intentionally hiding income and that's illegal. So just the act of chunking up your money is illegal. And that's the kind of thing that cryptocurrency enables in a terrifying way for governments. So there has been a lot of activity with banning cryptocurrency transactions, banning ICOs, that kind of thing. Well, that lasted like 2 weeks. And all of a sudden, everyone's coming out of the woodwork with their regulations, their rulings, basically saying there's not a lot we can do, but if you live in the country, let us know about your investments so that you can do tax deductions or tax payments. And also, here you go. So the big crypto boom is about to start again. Stone IPA, because I said so.
Yep. Well, well, I did it.
Stone Delicious IPA.
Yum. There's a couple of YouTubers that I watch that talk about cryptocurrency all the time, and they were, looking at the China ban as a bad thing, and they were talking about how the price was going to bottom out, and it fell, but now they're saying we made a mistake. It obviously didn't fall as far as we thought it was because Bitcoin is on the way back up and crossed back over 4,000 recently.
If they thought it was going to bottom out because China banned transactions, then you should unfollow them from whatever video service you're watching them on, because China holds.
Was the wrong way. Wrong.
Well,
statement,
China hold all the cryptocurrency, and if transactions are now banned, that means that there's going to be a market glut. That means there won't be currency to buy, which means the price will go up. There was when the ICO ban happened, there was one dump of $50 million in Bitcoin that did crash the market. You can go back 2 weeks and see on a graph where the market just went. But then that was it. It was just the one sale that everyone got a massive influx of availability, and then it leveled out because there was no new coin available. It's still a supply and demand market when you look at trading. So it wasn't going to crash. It was going to go down. There was going to be hesitation in the markets. But the fact that it was in China, and China's where all the Bitcoin is, means that hesitation in the markets isn't going to matter to anybody who really matters to the Bitcoin market.
It's always fun talking crypto. But I had recently been thinking about, I spend a little bit of time in the car. I don't do a lot of traveling. I'm segmenting off of crypto. Don't do a lot of traveling. But when I am in the car, I listen to NPR. I enjoy it. But there's also a lot of audiobooks and things I'm not listening to that I should be. So I've been considering getting a Android Auto stereo put into my car.
Are we sponsored by Audible.com now?
Should be. We could be. It's easy to be. I used to be. Anyway, so I know Eric recently got Android Auto and would love feedback. I don't have any sort of smart system in the car as it is. There's no Bluetooth player. There's no navigation, backup camera. I have nothing, just a plain stereo. Should I get one?
No.
So yeah, I did get. Oh, why do you say no?
Because you've got a phone.
I have limited data on my phone.
Why would you have
I guess
more
if
data on Android Auto?
I wouldn't. You're right. If I'm going to download it for Android Auto, I can download it to my phone anyway.
Well, and that was one of my misconceptions. Your phone has to be plugged in to get Android Auto to work. It works through your phone. So all your streaming services, I said so. Hit it. Good job.
There are times you can say so without it being an overused word.
You can't start a sentence with it though.
I agree.
There's no reason to start a sentence with it.
So go ahead and continue.
Now you made this nice transition, and I want to keep it going. But we do have people in the YouTube chat asking for cryptocurrency advice, and I feel bad moving on.
No,
I will not give advice.
Never give advice.
You will not?
I will tell you this though. I will tell you this: Ethereum is making the move to Metropolis, which includes the new feature Zcash Grump, or what's it called? ZK Snarks. Zero knowledge proof of work, and they're also moving towards a 1 in every 100 blocks being a proof of stake, not a proof of work, which means watch the video card market. When the prices start dropping on video cards, you're going to see proof of stake taking place. There's going to be a very large shift in the Ethereum economy soon.
You have $100 today. Do you buy Bitcoin with it, Ethereum with it, Litecoin with it, or do you keep that $100 cash?
Are we starting doom and gloom early, huh? I'll tell you what I buy. I buy Monero coin, which is literally translated just coin.
Okay.
Monero is the...
No, wait, hold on. Did you think I was going to let you expand on that? No, you gave your answer,
yes.
John.
No.
I don't know enough about the other coins, but if you're going to buy, diversify and obviously have some in Bitcoin and then have some in the alternate coins.
But would you buy? Would you buy today? If you were not already invested in this ecosystem, would you choose now to start to get into it?
If you are in it for the long haul, yes. That's where I screwed up a couple years ago. I got in at the top when it was $1,100 and decided I'm going to buy a little bit every week or whatever I was doing at that time. And it crashed down to 200 and I got disenfranchised to it and turned off the recurring buy, which was stupid, obviously, at this point. But if you believe in
It's only
cryptocurrency going
$100,000,
forward,
stupid.
something like that. If you believe in cryptocurrency and you think that it will be something in the future, then yes, because it's not going to go away. And if it does become something, it's going to be a lot more than it is today.
I think that Litecoin, Ethereum, and Bitcoin are the blue chips. That's where your long-term investment is going to stand. If you want to sit there on your money, that's where you put it. There are altcoins out there that are worth a lot if you want to put energy into it. The reason I endorse Monero coin right now is because that's the CPU-bound coin that is on an anonymous network that has real potential for alt cases. That's the coin that CoinHive mines, and that's the coin that I can't believe I have to say this, Showtime is mining on their website now too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But what is their use case?
People are
what's
sitting
the
watching
point
a
in
movie
mining
for
it?
an hour. Might as well make money.
No,
Now-
I understand that I understand that part. What's the use case of Monero coin?
It's CPU
what's
bound.
its benefit? Okay, but what does that mean to people?
It ties to a literal resource. I mean, what's the use case of oranges? If there was no longer oranges, if they just didn't exist, we could live without oranges. That's why oranges are bound to the dollar. We did it with bananas.
Wait, let me back up. Bitcoin was meant to be a currency, meant to buy stuff, right? That's kind of how it started. Ethereum is about decentralizing CPU usage or putting code into the blockchain.
Code, most importantly, yes.
Right. What is Monero coin bringing to the table? What differentiates it from everything else?
You can buy Monero with other cryptocurrencies, and it is a CPU-bound proof of work. So literally doing nothing, just calculating pointless numbers is worth money now on a computer. Monero has no inherent value. It's not being applied to some theoretical great achievement in decentralized DNS. It's just an anonymous coin on an anonymous service. That's its big benefits. You can transfer Monero without the amount, recipient, or sender being disclosed on the blockchain because it uses a special kind of blockchain that has abstracted values and endpoints. So it was really just a proof of concept for this mathematical standard, which is the Z-snark thing that's being introduced into Ethereum. But it's also
Monero can go away anytime now.
No, because Monero has a network behind it now. Monero has CoinHive, who is investing money and time. Monero has the JavaScript frameworks for it. I think there's 3 current Monero JavaScript miners, and Monero can't be ASIC or GPU bound in a way that's helpful. So its value is inherent that it's proof that calculations were done. It's proof that work was done. And we're in an economy where just having done work, whether or not it produces value, is of value. That might crash.
Okay,
Maybe.
Herman, I brought that up. I brought that question up for you, and now I regret doing it. I will never ever do that again. My bad.
And you know what Eric's regrets bring?
Android Auto.
I tried moving on to Android Auto like an hour ago.
Android
This is
Auto.
one of our longest shows ever.
I
This
am
is
torn
not.
with Android Auto right now. I can't decide if I like it or not.
What did you
So
get?
when I
What
first
device?
got in, I got a Pioneer. I ended up getting one of the higher end Pioneers because my truck already had a bunch of built-in capability, like satellite radio. It had a backup camera. all these things, and I had to get a higher end system to replace it because it was the only one that came with this. I forget what the other device is called that allows it to plug into these factory devices and allows things like the backup camera and to continue to work.
Cable harness.
It's Mastro. It's something like that. I forget exactly what it was called. And I'm kind of on the fence. When I first got it, I was immediately frustrated with it, and a lot of it's bad habit. I will grant you that. The Bluetooth capability, which my old stereo system had Bluetooth, was nice because you just pipe everything through Bluetooth, and you still have the functionality of your phone. And you're not supposed to touch your phone while you're driving, and I get that, and I do try to be good about that. But when I'm not driving, like if I'm at a stop sign or if I'm getting ready to drive, I will constantly, check my messages, check Slack, whatever before I move on. I was hoping
SD fun fact, you can check your phone while you're driving in San Diego because you're not moving.
SD fun fact, that's not true. You're not allowed to check your phone at all. Matter of fact, one of our members wrote a plugin for iPhone that detects whether or not you're driving so that you can't check it, because he got a ticket. Although he was stopped, he reached down, picked up his phone, checked messages, and got busted for it. So when you come to Wave PHP, do not drive around San Diego with your phone in your hand.
Don't do that anywhere, not just in San Diego.
This is true. I was surprised to find out that wasn't a law until recently in Phoenix. I drive out to Phoenix on a regular basis, and that was not a law in Arizona. It just passed a couple months ago that you weren't allowed to do that, but it was still a thing that you were allowed to do out there. So I was hoping that Android Auto would streamline this a little bit for me, but my initial response was it was very frustrating. To use Android Auto, you have to without the phone plugged in, it's just a regular stereo system. It has Bluetooth, it has satellite, it has everything else. It just doesn't have any of the Android functionality. To get any of the Android functionality, you have to physically plug it into your phone, and then you get this whole Android interface. It's very minimal. What's on the interface? You have access to very few applications that are on your phone. Your phone becomes crippled. Like you can't use it. It goes in this Android Auto mode that you can't do anything with. And it's frustrating to get used to. Now I'm starting to understand how to work it. And John and I discovered that you have OK Google. You have Google Assistant through Android Auto.
Yours turned on behind you.
Yeah, what's it called?
The Google Assistant.
No, but what was the thing you said right before that?
OK Google. And so I'm starting to use that Google Assistant more and more, and I find myself just asking it questions and asking it to do things just to start to get my head around the fact of what it can and can't do. Cancel. Just to get my head around what it can and can't do. As you can see, I'm pretty well vested into the Google ecosystem. I have an Android Watch, I have an Android phone, I have a Home Assistant here in my office, and now I have Android Stereo. So it's limiting. I'm trying to work with it because I assume it's like that for a reason. There's things that I feel like it should do fairly easily, and it doesn't do. Like, I can reply to if somebody sends me a Hangout message, Google Assistant will play it for me, and I can reply to it. And it's weird because the speech to text is way, way, way better than on my phone. I don't know if it's the the microphone that I'm using or what it is, but it hasn't tripped up on any of my speech to text when I reply to messages yet. So that's a plus, but I can't initiate a message. I was trying to do that with John the other day. I was trying to initiate a Hangout message with John, and she ended up calling him, and I couldn't get her to stop calling him. I was like trying to get her to cancel, but couldn't get to work. But
so what would happen if I called you and said, "Okay, Google, slam on the brakes"?
Well, she doesn't have control over my car like that, for one thing.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Welcome to Doom and Gloom. Hey.
But I'm getting. I definitely wouldn't recommend it for anybody who's not tech savvy. Like, there's a lot to understand and how you have to speak to it. I wouldn't recommend it. For my tech savvy friends, I don't know if I would even recommend it. Like, had I had a chance to do it again, I don't know if I would have spent the money to get Google Assistant. I'm hoping it's still developing, although it's been on the market for a while. I know it's coming standard in vehicles now, that and the iPhone one, which this system actually does both. It does whatever the Apple version is. I forget what that they call that one, and then it does the Android one as well.
That actually brings me to an interesting point. One of the lesser disclosed features of the new version of Android is that over-the-air updates can now be opted into by the user regardless of their carrier. So if you are on Android Oreo, you don't have to get the Verizon version of your system updates. You can now get the straight from Google version because they have it in their contract. I'm not kidding you. That is one of the huge new features that is not really being talked about.
How do you get that?
Huge.
It is huge. You get Android Oreo, which is only on the newer phones, and it's part of the license, which they stated to all the phone companies, if the user opts into an update, then we have everything we need from them for confirmation, so we're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the big new thing.
Basically, what you're saying is vendors won't release that OS to anybody then.
Yeah, no, you're going to have to buy Nexus.
I mean, that's why I got a Pixel, was because I wanted the stock OS. I didn't want all the Sprint crapware that I normally get, and I wanted to stay up to date.
I mean, do you find yourself appreciating the fact that you have kind of a white label phone where you don't have to have all the overhead of vendor software?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, that was always an annoyance on my when I had like the Galaxy S7 and S8 or 6 beforehand, always having that Sprint bloatware on there and not being able to delete it was annoying. Not being up to date with the latest changes in Android was a pain in the ass. So I actually really like the Pixel, and it's actually got like some of the best cameras on the market right now, or at least when I got it a year ago. So it's been really good.
Yeah, I've been envious of that Pixel. You know that even when you got it, I was playing with the idea of getting a Pixel, and when I ended up having to get a phone. What's that?
I was gonna say, I just wish when I had gotten it that the XL was available. They were out of stock at the time, and I just got the regular one. I really would like to try the bigger size.
Yeah, and they're coming out with the version 2 now, right? Isn't the Pixel 2 coming out here soon?
Yep. Not a lot changed.
Yeah.
I mean, you and I have talked about all the phones seem like they've hit a plateau. There's nothing really new and outstanding that makes you need to upgrade.
Well, the iPhone X has a Microsoft Connect on it and a Samsung screen.
And $1,000 price tag.
Charging, which Samsung's been doing for years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Android Auto, I said, so shit. Android Auto is I'm still kind of exploring it, and I haven't touched it inappropriately yet, but it's not really doing what I'd hoped it would do. It is nice to have things like Pocket Cast, which is the software I use to listen to podcasts, having that interface on my stereo now and not having to stream it through Bluetooth. One of the things I'm actually more disappointed with that I was looking forward to is having Waze. So the Waze map service, navigation service, is on the radio. So it goes through the phone on the radio. But the auto implementation is like way different than the phone one. You know, it just seems to be missing pieces. It doesn't look as nice. I've actually switched my default map back to Google Maps for navigation because it just is a nicer interface for me. But yeah, I don't know. You don't hear much about that market space, and I don't know how much development they're doing in it. I would like to see Slack have some sort of auto integration, like Hangouts. So if I get mentioned in a channel, I can listen to it. That's one of the ones stresses me out the most.
I too would like to sue Slack for a lot of money.
When I'm working and I'm traveling and I know I'm getting notifications on Slack and I have absolutely no way to respond to them because I can't get to it on my phone and I can't get to it through the auto the radio. So I would like to see that, but
hopefully with the burgeoning AR market, I think that's something we might see a little bit more of. There's also a big hacker space around deaf and blind enabled input devices that is starting to look into really cheap hardware.
Mm-hmm.
Things like Arduino instead of $2,000 keyboards.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But you guys, we're pushing an hour and 20 minutes now.
Yeah, we should wrap up.
I've got a doom and gloom bit that just can't go unignored.
All right, let me toss one more thing out there before you jump into doom and gloom. I do want to mention that it was announced DigitalOcean is doing their Hacktoberfest again. So if you guys remember last year with Hacktoberfest, all you had to do was open up, I think it's 4 PRs to a open source repo, and they'll send you a T-shirt. You have to register through DigitalOcean, I guess, so they can track your GitHub. But you open up PRs with an open source project, and if you do 4 in the month of October, they'll send you a T-shirt. Last year, we helped people out by open sourcing the PHP Ugly repo, which is still there, but we don't actively do anything with it. But our plan of attack still stands. Even if you're not a coder or you're not a strong developer, so many of these open source projects have little fixes to documentation you can make, README files, comments within the code. I mean, there's so many of these little things. Now is your opportunity. If you want a nice, cool T-shirt from DigitalOcean, start kind of trolling some of the, not trolling, but going through some of these open source repos that maybe you use, but you don't, never thought to contribute to before, and just look at their documentation, see if it needs some help. Or if you are a developer and you've had an idea for an open source project, now's the time to try to submit to it. I know there's quite a few out there.
There's currently 6,957 open issues that are available for Hacktoberfest. One of those, as of the release of this podcast, will be the Laravel Collective IronQ plugin getting 5.5 support. So
I forgot, you're in charge of that now, aren't you?
In charge makes me sound like I'm competent.
So if you wanted to sort of go to, I started with you see, you guys are killing me here. If
actually, you didn't. Somehow you stuck a so in the middle of the sentence. You said if you want to start
to an open source project, now is a good time to do it. Okay,
There's
Thomas, dump in your doom and gloom. Let's wrap this up. We've been
All right.
running
there's
too long.
there's 541 PHP issues.
First off, I
Where are you
need
guys
already
getting
open.
these numbers? Where are you getting these numbers from?
from the
Click on the link.
Hacktoberfest website.
There's a
I
website
guess
for it?
I guess the open source project has to say, "Hey, we're eligible."
Yeah, it's just a
For
hashtag.
this.
It's a hashtag on an issue, and then you're added.
Go to hacktoberfest.digitalocean.com for all the details. Thomas just got pissed to walk away. He's like, fuck it, I'm done. Talk about my doom and gloom. Where do you guys see this totals at?
So once you're on the website, one of the links takes you to a GitHub.
Oh, the browse GitHub.
Browse all participating Hacktoberfest projects on GitHub.
Ah.
So that'll be fun. Kind of go through there. I wish there were a way to kind of narrow it down from there. How did he just disappear and not say anything? He's just like up and out.
He like had a turtle head hanging or something. He had hey, welcome back to the show.
All right, can we do
I'm
a
Eric
clap
Van
check?
Johnson.
Because I've got a sync problem.
You are a sync problem. Clap check. 3, 2, 1.
So far.
Can I get another clap check? I have a John problem.
So it's Apple CarPlay. Going back to that.
Mm.
Man, where were we at without this chat before? We have people way smarter than us in our chat room.
I'm telling you, I don't know why we didn't think to do this sooner.
Yeah, that's why people watched Friends. It was all characters who were dumber than them.
Speaking of Friends, have you watched the new Will and Grace?
No.
Oh, is it
Probably
out?
not, because it just came out. It came out tonight.
Oh,
Then absolutely not.
I've been marathoning the previous show because I never watched it before, so I've been
What?
marathoning trying to get through it so I can appreciate it.
You'd appreciate it more in its time, probably.
I don't know.
It's held up pretty well. It's still pretty funny stuff.
Yeah,
All right,
we liked it.
I've got that beat for the cryptocurrency talk time, and I hate to say it, but I've got one for Doom and Gloom now too.
You're investing way too much in this doom and gloom.
I'm investing way too much in this podcast.
We're 78 episodes in, and there's been doom and gloom on every episode.
Yeah, but only on purpose for the last 20.
20, come on.
Now this starts
Last
off.
60.
Probably
starts
the
off
most
slow.
requested fan section of the podcast is doom and gloom.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to build you guys a mental picture. Okay?
Does it involve me going to bed?
For real.
No,
I have a kid that's going to wake me up in an hour.
I do not
by
want to
poking me
build
on the
that mental
forehead.
picture. Microsoft has released a new language, or has announced that they're going to be releasing a new language for future quantum computing systems. A fascinating revelation in Microsoft's big investment in the quantum computing future. One of the big scenarios that they have put on exhibit is machine learning. So it turns out that when you have an artificial intelligence, one of the big difficulties is the training process. You take all of the things that a system needs to know and basically propose it all of this information all at once, give it everything that it needs to have, and it learns from that large base of knowledge. What Microsoft is proposing is an exponential increase in the ability to train artificial intelligence. So they're looking at something that's breaking Moore's law. They're looking at something that is training artificial intelligence at hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands of times faster than conventional methods, which is
Now, when I
something that
saw you post this card, Thomas,
Mhm.
I'm going to have to take exception with this card and this whole topic, because you're really playing it up and you're investing a lot of our time into this conversation. But I brought this up to you a few shows back about how some scientists had trained two AI machines to work against each other to
to
train
speak
each
their own
other,
language.
and you weren't impressed with that at all.
I was
And
impressed
now
with that. But I'm telling you, quantum computing presents a platform that is hundreds of thousands of times faster than that. It is on a scale that is truly what is defined by the singularity. So right now we have the best AIs that we have. We have things like Watson. And if you can imagine that in the 10 years that Watson is being fed data and learning and training, you could fit that into 20 seconds on a quantum computer. So I introduce you to Intel's new CPU platform, Loihi. A CPU platform exclusively designed to mimic the human brain. What we're looking at are burgeoning technologies that people aren't appreciating. So when Microsoft talks about their new quantum platform, the term that they're using is linearized qubits. This is a new theoretical layout for the atomic structure of bound atomic particles for the sake of computing stacks. And it is a physical stack of atoms. It sounds a
everyone
lot.
just tuned out.
Yeah, everyone did just tune out, unless you understand that what I'm describing is just the next version of the transistor.
I'm
So
Eric
right
Van
now-
Johnson. Keep it ugly. What?
So Microsoft is
The whole show's
reinventing
gonna
the transistor.
Fade out to black over.
Don't
this
make me say so again. You're making me question myself now. Are you guys AIs? Is this the purpose? Is this why you hate doom and gloom? Because I'm actually on the right track?
You took the red pill. Damn it!
Ah, shit! I've seen the truth now. I was fascinated by Microsoft's research because what they're looking at really is the replacement to the transistor. Quantum computing is currently too difficult to execute. It's too difficult to take 100 qubits and get them all working together in anything other than an absolute zero environment that costs $10 million to maintain. But they're getting closer to stabilizing qubits. They're getting closer
I
to
love
making.
that game. Remember Qubit?
Oh,
At the 80s?
Qbert.
Qbert, that's what it was.
you're just making this a difficult editing task.
Doing, doing.
Fine. Quantum computing is the future. Also, apparently people think it's funny when the new questionnaire from Google is, why don't you want to see this ad? Did you see that? The ad.
How many you gonna burn through? You're gonna burn through all of them? Go ahead.
No, I'm trying to
Future
pivot
HPC?
now, since you guys are telling me that everyone's asleep. Ben Holtzman thinks
It
it's
wasn't
cool.
us. It was the people in chat.
No,
Is everyone
people
in
in chat are
saying
talking. Pretty sure they don't
Yeah.
like you guys.
I mean, you got on your soapbox and you're just going through this stuff. There's no input we can give you. There's nothing for us to contribute. I didn't see a light at the end of the tunnel. I wasn't sure where it was going. Wasn't sure if you're going to wrap up or ask us our opinions or get somewhere with it. So we felt we should just step in and trip you up.
I felt like I
Successful.
felt like I had structured it so that you guys couldn't give input, but I guess I was wrong.
There you go. You've learned a lesson here, haven't you?
But I really want to go play Cuba right now.
Hey, you guys want to talk about the national anthem?
I really don't.
Sure. What do you want to talk about?
I love it. I love
that's
it.
like-
John, you're killing me, John.
Dude,
We
you
have
did it.
that's like
You did it
4 times this
twice.
episode.
You did it twice to him this episode. It is absolutely his turn to want to talk about something you don't want to talk about.
Go on.
What do we
You,
do? We
I
just-
can't tell you I don't want to talk about something, then you wait for me to say something to get the conversation going.
That's literally how this podcast works.
We need your approval. Daddy, can we talk about this, please?
You want to sit this one out?
I see what you did there. That was
Take
funny.
me over there. Well,
Probably shouldn't talk about it.
clearly we
I
have
am
spiraled
curious.
to the end of another episode.
I am curious in other countries because we do have other people listening from other countries. We have Herman here from the Netherlands listening, and I am curious if it's as big of a statement in other countries when their national anthem plays and somebody doesn't stand or doesn't do whatever it is that they do for that national anthem, if that's kind of as big of a deal as it is here in the U.S., because it definitely seems disruptive here. And it's funny because I think the fact that the only reason it's as big of a deal as it is because we keep pointing it out, and then of course the guy who's running the country right now thought it was his place to say something about it, and that just spurred a whole bunch of controversy right there.
Who'd have thought Donald Trump would be a controversial figure? It's almost like electing an idiot to office would have had some consequences.
Yeah. I don't know. There's nothing.
I tweeted out this week that forced patriotism is the same as communism, and I've since been corrected to say it should be a dictatorship or something else, whatever. But
it's nationalism.
You're trying to force people to be a patriot, and it's like, but that's not what the country is about. And this never even started over patriotism. It wasn't started to say, I don't believe in what the flag stands for. It was just drawing attention to a bunch of crap that happens within our country that shouldn't be tolerated.
Well, and that's my biggest concern is now it's all become about the not standing for the national anthem, and that's become the focus, and not why he was doing it. Like nobody even talks about that anymore, and it hasn't been discussed in very long time.
But he's not in the NFL anymore.
Yeah.
Who, Kaepernick?
Yeah.
He's still in the NFL. He's just not picked up.
Is there a difference?
Isn't that one of the
He's not on a team right now,
No,
is he?
there's a massive difference. He's on the agency. You see that Sports Illustrated did an issue about kneeling for the national anthem, and it didn't have Colin Kaepernick on the cover. It had 20 athletes on the cover, and one of them wasn't Kaepernick. And the 20 athletes got asked about it.
19 were?
Yeah. The other athletes were asked about it, and they all just went, "What the fuck is going on?" It's real weird.
Yeah. I don't know, and I know here in the U.S. it's football season, and it was a big deal with the teams on whether they would or wouldn't stand for the national anthem. one of the teams, the Steelers, all decided that they were going to stay in the locker room, but there was one Steeler who is an ex-Army or I forget Ranger or what he was. He chose to walk out. He just walked into the. He didn't walk onto the field. He was just in the tunnel there, and he stood for the national anthem. And then he was, there were people criticizing him for standing because he wasn't with his team. It's like, holy smokes! You guys can't complain.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, you can't complain that there are people complaining of the people not standing, and you're going to complain when somebody does stand. It's one of these topics like there's a no-win scenario here, and
there's no way we don't get hate mail, is what you're saying.
My only issue is if you're doing it, have a good purpose of doing it. If your purpose of doing it is, I just don't agree with the administration, or I want some attention or something like that. Don't do it. Okay, this was started for a reason. That reason has been lost on the media and really doesn't get the attention it was meant to get by this action. Now the reason people are doing it is in support of this original. Really, in my opinion, the reason people are doing it is to show their support of the ability to do it.
No, I disagree. I think most of the NFL is doing it in opposition of Trump calling them out.
Okay. I'll give you that. I'll give you that as well.
I think it goes. I think it goes a little bit deeper than that, which is to say that Trump, as a white supremacist, is iconic of all of the things that are wrong with the history of America, and so doing so in protest of
privilege, a privileged life, and everything else. Yeah,
he is really a collection of just all the worst things, and I think doing it in opposition of him is more than just the him part of it. You're doing it in opposition of Charlottesville. You're doing it in the opposition of the alt-right. It's a broader statement now, and that's another thing that the media hasn't taken into account, is that people have a problem with the fact that a man bought the election by insulting people and was given the election by Russian propagandists who are, to be fair, the best at what they do. But the protest is about the fact that he became president despite losing the election, and the system is fundamentally in a state of failure for the time being.
Mm-hmm.
Twin gloom! You did it!
All right, gentlemen, we have gone way too long today.
Have fun editing this one,
wrap
Thomas.
this up.
I'm gonna love this one. You are gonna say the most horrifying racist things in this edit. It's just gonna be terrible.
Don't take what I said before the show and put it into the show.
No, we weren't recording that.
Oh.
All right.
By the way,
Let's
that's
wrap
meant to be
this up.
funny. I did not say anything stupid.
I'm Eric Van Johnson.
I'm John Congan.
I'm Tom Rideout.
Keep it ugly.
Keep it ugly. All
You
right.
know that part where I was ranting about cryptocurrency?
Wow, dude.
I was
Yes.
muted on Zencaster.
Oh my God, are you kidding me?
No. So I'm gonna need everybody's raw files uploaded.
Oh God.
Speaking of which, I'll go
Dude,
stop mine now.
killing us almost.
Oh, wait, were we supposed to start recording on Audacity?
Theoretically.
We never said start in clap check.
Yeah, we did.
We
A
did.
couple times.
I said
When?
start local, 3, 2, 1, go. Clap check, 3, 2, 1. We did
Before
the
we
local.
started recording this?
Yeah.
You're not a great liar.
Yeah, you're right. Eric was fine.
All
with
right.
it. Thanks, Thomas.
Everybody who's been in
Bastard.
YouTube chat, this has been fun. We'll
Yeah,
definitely
thank
make
you,
it
guys.
more of an effort to do the YouTube chat stuff, and I don't know if we can think of something to do that you guys can see on the live show. Actually, let me stop Zencaster.
I can go like shirtless next time if that helps, or I
Yeah.
can put on additional clothing if that helps.
If there's something we can do on the live stream that we will edit out of the recording, we'll try to think of something and give you guys a reason, give people a reason to watch and participate.
So when we stop recording on Zencaster, it eats all of our bandwidths, so we all go down to like 144p.
Yeah. Next episode is episode 79. So if anybody has any 79 numbers that we can use at the beginning of the show, feel free to tweet me, DM me. If I'm not following you to DM, just send me a tweet saying, "Hey Eric, will you follow me?" Or just send me a tweet of something and I'll follow you. That way these guys won't know what we're conspiring to show at the beginning of the show. I don't share it with Thomas and John. I never have my opening number, so I like to keep it that way. So DM me.
I think we know what the opening number is. I mean, come on.
Yeah, no, the number doesn't sneak up on us.
Yeah, it's the story that sneaks up on you.
You know, I figured out a trick today.
It was the way you said it was funny.
What's
Eric,
your trick?
So I pick a topic of the week, right? So like Hugh Hefner yesterday, and I put the show number after the search. Hugh Hefner, 78.
Yeah, that I've done that one before. The other trick that I'll share with you is type in the number and go to images and see what results come up in the images. It's
mostly trains.
I did that for the week of the 69th show. It wasn't a good search.
It wasn't good, or it was very good.
It was great.
It didn't work well for show content.
All right, Tom, stop your local recording if you haven't done that.
Of course.
Okay, guys, we're
We
gonna
both just did it. All right. Good night, guys. Thank you for showing up. Ben, next week we're gonna do Doom and Gloom trivia.